So, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to our HPC in the city of St. Louis Hackathon, sponsored by SC21 or hosted by SC21, our supercomputing conference. And tonight, we're finally going to have our final team presentations. Let me get some claps, some snaps.
Hey, yay.
Our teams have worked extremely hard to get here, and we are very, very excited to be able to allow them to present their findings tonight. So our agenda for tonight, just so that you're aware of what's going on, we're going to have some introductions, we're going to have a couple welcomes, we're going to have some event stats, our mentor team trailers, which are going to be amazing. I love showing the mentor team trailers. And then we'll have our team presentations, after which we'll have our awards. Now, I would be remiss not to introduce my fellow organizers, members of the organizing committee. Now, myself, my name is Jamie Powell, or Jamie. My mama called me Jamie as long as I wasn't in trouble. I'm actually a systems administrator from the Texas Advanced Computing Center. Along with me, I have Dr. Linda Hayden from Elizabeth City State University. She's actually the professor emeritus at Elizabeth City State University, as well as the director of Science Gateways Community Institute, which is one of our sponsors. Along with her, we have Amy Cannon from Omnibond, Boyd Wilson from Omnibond, Josh Kissel from Omnibond, as well as Alex Note from the University of Tartu. Now, I need to take a look at the list. I don't know if Alex is here. Alex, are you here, sir? Because if he is here from Germany. So I thought he would be asleep, and I was right. Having said that, we would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, and I'd like to leave that to the heart of our organizing committee, Miss Amy Cannon of Omnibond. So Amy?
I want to thank all of the sponsors for all of your support to make this possible and for us to continue to have the hackathon every single year. So thank you to Omnibond. The product is Cloudy Cluster. Thank you to Globus, Intel, Exceed, SIG, HPC, SGCI, GoogleCloud, and TACC. We appreciate all of your loyalty and the commitment to help this possible. Thank you.
Yes, and I want to add on to that thank you and say thank you one more time. If it wasn't for our sponsors, for our vendors and our academic institutions and programs that have been so caring to provide funds for this event, it would not happen. So thank you so very much. I'd also like to of course, say thank you to our judges, and I will leave that to our judge czar, Dr. Linda Hayden.
Hello, everyone. Looking forward to your team presentations. And so are our judges, our fabulous team of 4 judges. We have Damian Hopkins from TACC. Damian, if you're on, give a wave. Maybe you will give away. Did he do it? Yeah.
Oh, he gave us a thumbs up. There we go.
Gave us a thumbs up. Great. Okay. And Maria Varela. Give us a thumbs up, Maria. Really happy to have
Hi,
you.
everyone.
Happy to have you from our SC21 Inclusivity Committee.
That's
and you could say a word if you'd like to.
I'm just very thrilled to be here. I'm very impressed with what the teams are doing and just so grateful for the opportunity to be here. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And Jacqueline Jackson from Jackson State University.
Good evening, and I'll ditto Maria's remarks. I'm excited to see what the final results are going to be.
Good. And our final judge is Elijah McCarthy from Lane College.
It's really great being here, and I love what I'm seeing and what the teams are doing. I look forward to enjoying the presentations as well.
Very good. So we want to give a big thank you to these 4 individuals who have agreed to listen to your presentations, who have been a part of the judges training, and so they know what to look for. They have a rubrics go by in terms to choose. They will be choosing the judge's choice and the impact award winners. Very impressive awards, and we look forward to the results and to congratulating the winners. Thank you.
Excellent. And thank you, Dr. Hayden. So for those of you that have no idea why you're on the Zoom session or viewing this YouTube stream, the objective of HPC in the city of St. Louis was to bring together members of the HPC, so the high performance computing community, their resources, their skills, their knowledge sets, and the personnel, bring them together along with students, so undergraduates and graduate students, as well as faculty members and specialists, to tackle problems that directly affect them. Now, in the case of this particular hackathon, or this particular HPC in the city, we focused on the target city of St. Louis. And someone may ask, why St. Louis? Well, the reason for that is because our host conference is actually Supercomputing 21, which is actually taking place in about 2 weeks. So we're taking place prior to supercomputing, but we wanted to focus on that city to give something back. And so along with that, you're going to see those issues addressed through data analysis, presentation, applications, and the various teams will actually say how they believe their project will positively affect St. Louis and the greater metro area. Student outcomes include, of course, data science in the cloud, familiarity with that, experience with collaborative software engineering and development, which a few of the students may tell you has been very interesting, as well as develop some professional communication skills, which you're going to see as they present their projects tonight. Now, I always like to give a little bit of information about what the students actually did, along with some statistics to go along with that. So the students started on Thursday night, so November the 4th at 5 p.m. Central Time. They had, the vast majority of them had never met each other before. They did not have pre-made teams, the vast majority of them, and they formed the teams that night. It was a little bit chaotic, which we like around here when we're actually forming the teams. From then to now, they selected a project that one of the mentors suggested, and then they took that project and they made it their own. And tonight, some of their deliverables that they had to put out was they're presenting or the source code, including comments, a PDF of their presentation with all the team members, use of HPC technology in the project that relates to the Impact Award, the regional implications of that project that relates to the Impact Award as well. And their GitHub repository linked with a customized readme.md, so a markdown file that's a part of the GitHub repository. Just to let you know, if you'd like to take a look at those sites or those repositories, they are available on our event site, or you can go to http://hackhpc.org, and in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a big gray button that says event site. And of course, you can take a look at those repositories, as well as a few of the pictures and winners of the little contests we have along the way. So they've been working for about 98 hours. There's 7 teams, 29 students, 16 mentors, 4 staff helpers, and a slew of others around them that have helped with varying levels, as you can see by the graphs there, of knowledge with different programming sets and with different skills. But the true key to this hackathon are our mentors. The mentors, there are 2 mentors per group, so a mentor and a co-mentor. And the 2 of them work with 4 to 5 students in their group, and some are less, some are more, or some have more students. But they work with a group during this time to create from scratch what you're going to see tonight. what you're going to see is an amazing feat of knowledge, strength, and fortitude and character to create these various projects. So we want to say thank you to all of our mentors that have come to us over the course of this event. Now, having said that, the mentors actually made something for the students, something to kind of show their gratitude to their teams. And we're going to take a moment to actually allow them to introduce their teams their way. So if you'll bear with me for a moment, I'm going to share my screen again, and hopefully you should be able to see this.
Start over with volume.
There you go. Are you able to hear it?
Need us, and we are here to care. Oh, don't you dare. We are the air. We are the air. Atmospheric investigative researchers. To win, we're in. To bring happiness to St. Louis with our service. We're the atmospheric investigative researchers.
This is Ric Flair, the nature boy. Woo! I used to live a limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing lifestyle. Woo! The nature boy. I grew up in St. Louis, and when I come here, I ride the metro and Priuses. Can barely fit into it. The nature boy. Woo! It's going to raise awareness about climate change in my city, St. Louis. Woo! The cool ducks are going to hack up a way for me to do that. They're from Elizabeth City State University. Woo! Woo! Aisha Cooper, Tony Guy, Cynthia Pontin, Antonio Velez, and they are being mentored by none other than Dr. Malcolm DaCosta, Dr. Muhammad Al-Bakari, and Mr. John Hawley. Woo!
I wrote this letter to remind myself the reasons I'm alive. I got to reason number 5. With my pen I wrote on and I tried to find words that described all the time. I caught myself and realized there were good things just ahead of me. But right now it gets hard to believe. But I know that I'm safe when I leave.
And we are Don't Skip a Beat. And yes, through trial and error, our team was able to accomplish our goals and are so excited to show you the mountains that we have crossed to get there. And I'm so proud of all of you.
Jamal. Jamal is a boy who lives in a poor neighborhood. He has a friend named Kevin, who lives in a wealthy neighborhood. All of Jamal's neighbors are African American, and all of Kevin's neighbors are white. Because Jamal's school district is mostly funded by property taxes, his school is not very well funded. His classrooms are overcrowded, his teachers are underpaid, and he doesn't have access to high-quality tutors or extracurricular activities. Kevin's school district is also funded by property taxes, so his school is very well funded. His classrooms are never crowded, his teachers are very well paid, and he has access to high-quality tutors and lots of extracurricular activities. Kevin and Jamal live only a few streets away from each other. So how come they're growing up in such different worlds with such different opportunities for success? The answer has to do with America's history of systemic racism.
We are the equalizers. Introducing the team. My name is Dr. K. I am the mentor. My co-mentor, Dr. Rebecca Cowen, and our aspiring data scientists, Ms. Jasmine Trippier and Mr. Christine Maneno. We are investigating systemic racial bias in public funded services in the great city of St. Louis, MO. The question is, does there exist racial bias in allocation of public funded services in the great city of St. Louis? We're going to use the sample data, examples of public safety, public health, and public education. And the impact, in our view, to the people of St. Louis is racial justice awareness for the residents of St. Louis and greater Missouri state. Hopefully, we'll be able to convince the skeptics that racial bias is a real problem. We wish to have a conversation about this. Thank you so much.
You're muted.
Here we go. We have one last late breaking trailer for you from the Blockbusters. So here we go.
Internet of Things continues to grow at a rapid rate. Sensors and devices are becoming more commonplace to communicate information. In business networks, where data such as location, temperature, or other properties need to be shared, a permissioned blockchain ledger can help create a tamper-evident record. This opens up new ways of automating business processes among partners without having to set up a costly, centralized IT infrastructure and all.
All right, let's do that one more time here. Let's see if we can do that one more time. One more again.
I saw it.
I saw it as
well.
well.
You saw it? Oh, man. Okay. So I stopped that for nothing. Oh, no. So let's do that one more time. Here we go. We'll play it from QuickTime. All right. So let me make sure my window isn't in the way so you all don't get any of those gray squares. Here we go.
Internet of Things continues to grow at a rapid rate. Sensors and devices are becoming more commonplace to communicate information. In business networks, where data such as location, temperature, or other properties need to be shared, a permissioned blockchain ledger can help create a tamper-evident record. This opens up new ways of automating business processes among partners without having to set up a costly, centralized IT infrastructure, and all participants have access to the same.
Team mentors includes Agbale Mikael and Dr. Keith Mall. Our team members are Christopher, Fiaz, Ibrahim, and Abdul.
I can't hear you. Who you gonna call?
All right. So let's give our mentors a hand or snap.
Yeah.
Excellent job. Excellent job. Now, having said that, at long last, it is time for us all to witness the amazingness that is what the students have created in this period of time, our team presentations. So now our first team that will be presenting to us tonight comes from the group The Equalizers. Now, for those of you that again are new to our HPC in the City Hackathon, each one of our teams has a limited time of 10 minutes to present their project. They cannot go over it. They will be cut off. Having said that, I am also in charge of letting the judges know if each team has completed everything that they need on their GitHub repository. So judges, insofar as the team, The Equalizers, I'm looking at it right now. I see their code, I see their PowerPoint, and I, of course, have their repo and their README files complete. So with that, judges, The Equalizers are complete, and they do receive those 20 points. Beyond that, I will turn the floor over to The Equalizers. Equalizers, you have our attention.
Okay, can you guys see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, as a little disclaimer, I'm sick. I got sick. We started with this Thursday. I got sick on Friday. So if y'all hear a little cough in the middle of it, disregard it. Oh, I have to share. I'm sorry. Okay, guys. Good evening, y'all. My name is Jasmine, and my team's name is the Equalizers. Our topic was to investigate systemic racial bias in public funded services in the city of St. Louis. Our goal was to conclude if, in general, racial bias existed. We had 3 areas of data. We had public safety, public health, and public education. Public safety focused on fire departments and police stations. Public health focused on hospitals, testing sites, and health departments. And public education just focuses on the amount of schools in that area. Just keep in mind that every scale is public, just for the option of equal opportunity. With these sets of data, we added zip codes to it, we added populations, and we added demographic percentages. Each topic of data was done by hand and then combined to make a final master sheet. After getting our master sheet together, the next step was to begin implementing our findings into Jupyter. And we use Jupyter through Cloudy Cluster. Jupyter just begins with us individually plotting each topic. So we would plot the student to teacher ratios, hospitals, the test sites, health departments, all individually. So all of these will be marked. And our next goal after that was to test the correlation using linear regression. But that's when we started to have some troubles. We were able to plot the graphs, but we couldn't get our linear regression line to show. Of course, if we had more time and maybe if I wasn't sick as a dog, we could have gotten that line to show. We put it in our code, we just don't know why it wouldn't show. We had a lot of bumps in the road trying to accomplish this topic. I don't know if any other teams were trying to look at zip codes in St. Louis, but there are a whole lot of different ones giving you different different answers. So that took us a long time. We lost our master sheet, and I don't know if you guys see how big this master sheet is that we created from scratch. We had to create it all over again. We lost our cloudy cluster session. It's just things like that. And then of course I'm sick. But yeah, if we had more time, we definitely would have added that linear line in somehow, some way, just so we could draw to our conclusion. Thank you.
I know he didn't put on a mask. You're muted, Jamie.
Thank you so much. That means my joke didn't come through. That is awesome. So, so Jasmine, we want to thank you so very much for your character and for your strength, pushing through, even though you all have obviously fought through some serious considerations to be here. So we want to thank you so much for your presentation. And we know that with the continued mentorship of Dr. K and Dr. Caldwell, that you all will complete that project. In fact, I'm going to say in front of everyone, our next hackathon, which we're hoping will be in the spring, and Doc, hopefully I'm not letting anything out of the bag. Hopefully it will be a part of the ADME conference or related to it. We're going to make sure that you all get invitations to come and actually be a part of that hackathon. And we look forward to seeing it. But as far as that, so Jasmine, do you have any final words? Let me get ready for it.
No, thank you for letting me go first.
Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all.
Jasmine, thank you so much. I appreciate you showing up and presenting.
Are there any questions from our judges?
I do have a question. So we know what your original question that you set out originally to answer was. So what was the answer? Was your technical contribution allowed you to answer the question that you asked initially? What was the result so far?
If we could have gotten our linear line to show, that would have given us the correlation, that would have given us our final conclusion. But we got our scatter to show, but not the linear line. And you can't read your correlation without that linear line. So because we don't have that linear line, we didn't make a conclusion. We only have that scatter.
But you're very close to it, right? Like you said, if you just finish that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thank you, and get well soon.
Thank you.
I have a judge question. Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. First and foremost, I really do hope you get better soon, and hope you get to feeling better. I'm sorry you have to be the presenter today of all days. But my question for you, it goes back to the linear line. So my question is, how far into the process were you before you realized, oh, bleep, this isn't working? We might have to switch it up or maybe go a different way, because this thing, it's kind of our big reveal. So that's what it sounds like you're saying to me. This linear line that we need to come up, this is what's going to show, it's going to prove our hypothesis, and we don't have it. So my question is, how far into the process were you before you realized we don't have it?
That linear line was really the last step of the project. So that being the last step, we didn't get to it until today. We probably started trying to correlate maybe around 12 and 1, and from 12 to probably 5:45 we sat here and we tried different things. None of us in our team, not even our mentors, there's only 2 of us in general on our team, and then my mentors, none of us are proficient in Python. So that was a struggle in the beginning. So I feel like for us to have made it that far without a linear line was pretty good. But yeah, we didn't get that linear line topic started probably until about 12 or 1. And we tried probably for like 4 or 5 hours to get that line started.
Thank you so much. And again, please eat some oranges and get some vitamin C in you and rest. Sounds like
yes.
God bless.
And for the judges, I also wanted to, she didn't quite point it out, but I also noticed that, Jasmine, you were actually using the Google Cloud AI platform in order to process that data. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was my first time using it. We had to have Mr. Boyd, of course, come in and help us a couple times. He gave us a tutorial, but once we were able to get that going and see how to get Jupyter implemented into it, it was pretty good because Jupyter is the same everywhere. We just used it in Google Cloud.
Yeah, they were using the Jupyter and Cloudy cluster. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, this time we're going to go ahead. Thank you again. Thank you again, the Equalizers and Jasmine, for your presentation. And I think I can speak for everyone that is on the Zoom session, as well as the, let's see here, 20 or so that are watching on YouTube. We all wish you a quick recovery from your sickness there. All right. So having said that, up next of our teams is Team AIR, the Atmospheric Investigative Researchers. For the judges, I have checked their GitHub repo, which means they've given me the link. Their presentation is there, as well as their readme.md, and their presentation does have their team members on it. So this project is complete. They can be awarded those 20 points. And with that, I will hand the floor over to the AIR group. AIR group, you have our attention.
Hello, everyone. We are the AIR, the Atmospheric Investigative Researchers, and my name is Nidhi. So our website provides an interactive map that shows real-time and historical air quality data from all the recording stations in the US. So just a quick overview. So these are our team members. So we have Urvashi, and then myself and David, and our mentors, Sherry and Cole. So what is the problem that we are trying to solve? So air pollution has been making headlines, especially in the last year, for specifically for St. Louis, and not just in St. Louis, but all over the US. So that's why we first started off with this problem of focusing only on St. Louis, and then we extended it so that we can record the air quality data from all over the US. So the features that our product has is, first of all, it displays real-time air quality index for the entire US. That means we are making API calls real-time, and that data is being updated every hour. So we have one part where we are showing the real-time values so that people will be aware of what the air quality conditions are outside. And we also provide a historical analysis where we have 1 year worth of monthly average data of the air quality, as well as the past 6 hours of data that we show on the interactive map. So this way we can kind of see the trends of how the air quality is changing monthly, or even just in the last 6 hours. Now, the third one that we have is an alert system. where the users can basically subscribe with their email address if they wish to receive alerts. And if there's an increase in the AQI value, then they will be emailed an alert of the bad air condition. So the methodology that we have right now is our app is deployed in Google Cloud, and we have written all of our code in Python, and it uses Flask in order to interact with our website. So on our website, we are having all the maps and all the different features I spoke about. But in the backend, Python is the main thing that's working, and it's not just one Python script, but we have multiple scripts to offer all of these 3 features. So it's around 5 parallel tasks that are happening, where one task is basically displaying the real-time data, the other one is going to query the historical data, and the third one is checking for checking to see if an alert has to be sent. The fourth one is basically subscribing the user. So we are using a lot of parallel tasks, which is how we are taking advantage of the HPC. And the other thing is that we are collecting data from multiple locations in the US, which is more than 3,000 locations. So in order to gain the speed, especially in the data collection, HPC, we have basically taken advantage of the HPC. So now it's the demo time, and my colleague Urvashi will take over.
Hi, everyone. I'm Urvashi from the Air, and I would like to go over the demo for you. So we have our application running on Google Cloud, and this is what it looks like when you open our web page. So we have a navigation bar on top, which gives you the access to all the recent information, so the past 6 hours. And then we also have the historical map, which gives you like the monthly average for each month. So you know what the air quality is going to look like based on historical data. And then the third tab that we have on top is the feature to subscribe to the alerts, which are going to be sent on your email. At the bottom of the map here, we have a legend that explains what each of these colors mean. So we have points on our map with a little smiley face on top. And if the air quality is not good, the smiley face is not going to smile anymore. So, and we also changed the color of the smiley face to show what the air quality actually means. And so we have a legend down here. And right below that, we've also added some extra information for people who are prone to respiratory diseases. So an average user may not know how this number or this color affects them. So we have taken some data from for particular diseases or respiratory ones, and given some information here that, if it's more than that, you're better off sitting at home rather than going outside. So we've added that in as well. So here, once we click on any marker, we're going to see some information, and it's going to give you information about all these different pollutants, what the air quality is, the index, and also what it means. So if it's good, bad, or whatever. And as you see here, it also gives me something called the dominant pollutant. So the dominant pollutant is the one that is highest in the air at that time. And that is the one that actually determines what the overall air quality is. So here in this case, PM 2.5 is moderate, and that's why the entire air quality is moderate. So moving on to showing some of the historical maps. So let's look at May of how the air quality looks in May in general. So once we open that, you're going to see like the markers are going to change on the map. And also, if I zoom out of this map, we're going to see the markers for the entire US. So it looks like the air quality was much better in that region in May, and it overall looks better. So let's zoom out and see what it looks for the entire US. You can see that, okay, at some points it's not that good, and some points most of it it's great. So it looks like May is a good month to be outdoors. Next, we're going to move on to the subscribe part. So we just have a simple form right now, but as long as it works, right? So I'm just going to put in my details here, and I'm going to say I want alerts for the city of Denver, and hit submit, and that should generate a welcome email for me. And anytime the AQI, the air quality index, is above a certain threshold in Denver, it's going to send me an alert. So I don't have to keep looking at the website all the time before I leave my home. I'm just going to get an alert. So yeah, let's see. Here I have the welcome notification. You're subscribed for the alerts, and yeah, I'm good to go. Now I know when to go out and when not to. So yeah, and I'm gonna hand over to David for the rest of the presentation.
Yes, so hello, my name is Engineer David Raharija. And so I just want to end up the presentation with a special thank you to all the and sponsors. All of this is only possible because of you, and we're very grateful for it. For example, I never knew how to code with HTML before, and so through this experience, I was able to learn that. And even with just using different type of codes to make something that's actually real like this. So thank you very much.
Excellent job. Excellent job. And we thank you for coming as well. So having said that, are there any questions for this group?
I have a question. So in your interactive map, could the user pick any location, any small town, or do you have to pick a big metropolitan area? What's the granularity of the options you have when picking a region or city in your map?
So as of now, we are collecting the data from all the recording stations in the US, which is somewhere around 3,000, somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000. So basically, it depends on where the data collection is happening. So I mean, unfortunately, I think the data is not collected in like every single area or every single zip code, which is what we would love to have. That was what we were going for. But when we explored, we saw that there were only specific areas, especially around the metropolitan cities like St. Louis or LA. So that's where the frequency of the data collection and the frequency of the data monitors are more. So yeah, so as of now, we are collecting from all the monitoring sites in the US.
Excellent.
And I also want to add that for any person looking to get a data for their region, the ideal way is to give the nearest available data. So the nearest available station that's collecting the data, we would like to give that data to the user.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have a question. My name's Edgar. Why do you think those sensors are located in the areas they are? Sort of following up on Ms. Varela's question.
So I think one major reason is like based on the population. So because the cities have more population and these air quality levels are usually fluctuating based on the number of vehicles outside. So because the pollutants, like especially for ozone, if we see, so the ozone levels are determined, the ozone levels are affected by the number of vehicles that are outside and the exhaust from those vehicles. So I think that they have strategically placed it such that it is, more near the highways or more crowded areas.
Thank you.
Yeah, actually, I have a question. Did you include the wind in your model? Because actually, the wind actually it changes the pollution, and it should be included. So my question: did you include it or not?
So actually that was our next phase, which we were going to include, which was a forecasting model where we wanted to consider the temperature, wind, and the amount of, the amount of cloud, water vapor in the air. But unfortunately, we couldn't reach there to the forecasting part, but we do have the model ready. We were still working on the fine tuning.
No, I'm talking about the wind.
Yeah, exactly. So the wind, so we are not getting any wind data right now. It is just the sensor data that just directly records the air quality index value and delivers it to us. So like we are more focused on the air pollutants and the air quality indexes rather than the weather. So as we are already getting that available, as we are getting it directly from the recording stations, so we are not looking into that other, wind or temperature and all of the other climatic conditions.
Yeah. Actually, to be more accurate, you have to include the wind because, the wind actually dramatically affect the pollution, and the pollution can transfer from one region to region in no time. To be accurate, you have to include it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
One more question: Are you guys undergraduate or graduate?
So we are graduate students.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That makes sense for me. Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. All right.
Hey, Mohammed.
Also,
can I add a little bit to that?
Is Adriana also a graduate student?
Yes, you can add.
Mohammed, I just want to add a little bit more to your thing because that was actually a fantastic question you asked. So we were fortunate enough to have our other mentor, Sherry. She actually is part of the NCAR, the National Center for Atmospheric Research. And we actually did think about that question. The solution we came up with was to basically cross-reference the data set of air quality with a WRF simulation running in parallel. But basically, we talked about it, and it was just, we decided it was too much to do in a weekend. But that is how we would have implemented that, is having a WRF simulation running in parallel and then basically cross-referencing that data set with air quality and with the WRF simulation to get wind data and stuff.
Excellent. And with that, I'm going to have to end the questions for this team, but thank you very much. The AIR group, as you can see, you have definitely brought some excitement for air quality, and thank you so much for all of your hard work. Up next, we have the group. I got caught up in the presentation. I forgot what group is next. Oh my goodness, the next group is actually brick by brick. And judges, I am taking a look at the brick by brick repo right now as we speak, this fantastic piece of work. And inside of the repo, I do see their presentation, and their README has a description of their project. So I can safely say this group has completed all of their deliverables and they have earned those 20 points. So with that, brick by brick, you have our attention.
All righty, give me 1 second to start up and share my screen. Okay. Minimize this real quick. Present. And there we go. Good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Hi, good.
Doing good.
That's great. My name is Gary Scott. I am a senior computer science major, math minor with the focus for cybersecurity at Morehouse College. You may have recognized me by my photo shoot and my headshot that was shown in our introduction. You may not have, because it was a tad bit outdated. However, let's get back to the focus of this presentation. So our group, Brick by Brick, we had the topic of urban development. And so a lot of us know systematic racism is a very sad travesty that has affected several minority communities within the United States of America. And, we've had issues all the way back from redlining and, modern day gentrification. So with that being said, on Friday evening, our group decided to come up with an idea on how to target this. And what we decided to do is that we wanted to initially create some type of system, which was composed of a scoring metric or something that would pretty much analyze housing data information within St. Louis, and also analyze crime data that was reported within the year 2019 and 2020, and then map them, show any type of correlations that may have arisen, and then explain those correlations just so we could spread awareness in the need of trying to break down those aforementioned issues and barriers that are presented in areas that need additional resources and funding. So as I said before, that wasn't our initial goal, but as a lot of us know, things do change, especially in the course of the weekend. So what eventually came out to be our goal is that we decided to just try and make functions in which we would then try and make some type of graphical user interface and host it on, like a web page that people could come to and then visit and then see that said data. So from there, as said before, we ran into a lot of different methods and ways of which we try to implement them. And the way in which we decided to eventually go through this is that we pretty much synced up on GoogleCloud. From there, we hosted a Jupyter notebook within our GoogleCloud, and we then went out, downloaded some CSV files and collected data that we would then use, housing data, metrics such as, ownership, prices. I know if anyone's been up to date within, the recent real estate debacle, there's been a lot of crazy information about that. Stating back to, prices, schools, institutions, all things within that nature, alongside that crime data that we mentioned, that I recently mentioned. So those files that we took, we then decided to implement them using Python and make some Python functions that would then go through and show visuals such as graphs that we could then compile the data together. And as I said before, make that linear regression line on a scatter plot to show correlations that we would then explain and then, spread that awareness. The final goal after doing all of that was to host it on GoogleCloud. As I stated, once again, we did run into a lot of issues, and sadly, many of those issues were kind of evident as we were diving into our project. The scope of our project initially was pretty wide, but that is, that's actually really good because the issues that I'm going to address here they don't really so extend outside of the goal of what I was saying, but the issues we face just in trying to have our project up and running is actually highlighting the overall scope and awareness of our project in the first place. Initially in our code, because a lot of us weren't really familiar with using Jupyter notebooks. I know I personally wasn't. We ran into a lot of syntax errors and issues. I know Kyle could possibly speak out to that more because that was really the day one issue that we had. But after we fixed those issues, we then spent several hours realizing that, hey, the syntax is working, things make sense. However, we're not getting the output that we expected to get. And upon spending several hours of trying to figure out what was going on, I was able to get Virginia to kind of assist us, and she was spot on able to point the problem that we had. We went into our CSV files and we kind of realized that sadly, the data that was even collected, the way in which it was kind of put in was, it was kind of poor. And it's kind of sad to say that, that's an issue that needs to be addressed and something that needs to be fixed. But, if you were to have your car broken into, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't want to wait 10 years for that to be reported. You know what I mean? It's outrageous. By then you have another car. And that's actually shown here in the slide that I have to the right. As you can see, all these files on the left, like the complaints, they were all reported and officially listed in 2019. However, the dates in which they occurred is, ranging all the way back from 2003, which is ridiculous. And that's kind of the issue that we ran into. When we were reading in the actual data and we were parsing through it, there was something going on in our code in the library that we were using to where it was picking up like the wrong information. It was reading into the wrong column, and that's kind of the biggest issue that we ran into. And sadly, by the time we realized it, we had 4 hours before we had to present our project and our presentation. But from there, I'll actually go through and show like live demonstrations of what we did have so you guys can see what we had. So give me 1 second to head on over and show you our actual notebook. Reconnect, let me scroll to the top. Okay. So first and foremost, this was that first bar graph that I told you guys about that we had those syntax errors with. Kyle went through day one. He was able to knock this out. He did a great job with it. Except for, I can't really recall the specific errors that we had. He could probably talk on that, but another crew member, John, he came through and he was able to revamp this actual graph. We improved the user interface a little bit, and we decided to actually print out those CSV files. But down at the bottom is an actual demonstration of what I was talking about in regards to coming through and pretty much not putting in the right information. Like it parsed in information from 2018, but however, in the very beginning of our code, all the way up at the top, if you notice like the way in which we wrote like our arrays for the information to be parsed, 2018 isn't even mentioned here. So yeah, but to continue with the rest of what we had in our actual project here, the next plan that we had is that we're going to go through and implement, this is the space in which we're going to implement like that line graph that I mentioned, not line graph, sorry, the scatter plot. And then we're going to go through and actually mention that. But at the bottom, we have an API that really shows like the official map in which we're going to try and list all the target areas that we were talking about. And I'll go through so you guys can see this too firsthand. Oh, actually, I might have to let me just rerun it really quickly because it accidentally zoomed in. Okay, any day now. There we go. So let me scroll down. It's processing a bunch of data points. And lo and behold, the map in which we had planned to go through and like show the different areas that need additional funding and resources based on like any correlations that may have came up in terms of like housing information that we found and then crime data. So without further ado, are there any questions? Disregard these additional slides. That was just us being precautious and taking screenshots.
All right. So I do want to ask, I see that you all are actually using Google Colab to show your Jupyter notebooks. Was there any plan to actually change over to another platform? And did you just kind of run out of time?
I think, because once again, as stated before, we know like the final end goal was to switch over, to Google Cloud and then host things on there. But I think for the short time being, using like Google Colab and hosting on Jupyter Notebooks was kind of just our go-to. So I'm not really sure if anyone else can really, speak on that in my group, but I know as far as I'm concerned, that was just what we had. We sadly did run out of time because, as I said, the entire scope of our project initially was very big, and we had to cut back and gradually make more adjustments as time went on.
Yeah, ideally, we, besides the crime data, we also found several other data sets like just generally neighborhood complaints and things like that that were provided from the city. But to be able to process all those things, we would have absolutely needed to switch over to something a little bit more powerful with the Google Cloud that was provided, but we did not get to that point in the project.
Exactly.
All right. Are there any questions from the judges for this team?
Okay, so I do have a question. So you mentioned at the beginning that your aim was to kind of see if there's any correlation that existed between the different parameters, like the housing prices and the crime rate and all that. So at the end, were you able to kind of come up with any conclusion on whether there is some form of collaboration, whether it is some kind of correlation, whether it is weak or a strong correlation?
So even though we weren't able to, go in and like show it in regards to like our actual scripts and that we had in Python, I was kind of, we had our own discussions outside of this because I know the main focus of this competition is, high performance computing, utilizing, the beauties of computer science. But stepping away from that, even like, as we said, like with that file and the data that we were reading, just using our own human abilities, like we noticed, hey, there was something wrong in the way in which this data was reported. So even though we couldn't, make the official like linear regression line to show like all the data being plotted out and making those actual correlations, we know like intuitively as a group that there's definitely something that's showing up in there. Because there are certain areas that, hey, things are being reported 2019 on time, but then, as I said before, there was an event that happened in 2003, but it wasn't reported until 2019. So.
Interesting. All right, let's give that team a hand. Thank you so much for you all's hard work. And up next, we bring to the state. Now I have to brag a little bit. So I am an alumni of Elizabeth City State University. So I would be remiss in this public forum not to reach out to everyone. I'm not going to yell because, you know, my neighbors will think I'm crazy, but I will say with all heart and intent, Viking Pride. As I introduce the group,
Viking Pride.
The Cool Ducks. Judges, the Cool Ducks GitHub page does have all the requirements, so you can give them those 20 points for completeness. And with that, the floor is yours, Cool Ducks.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's doing good. I am Tony Guy. My co-hackers are Sincere Ponton and Asia Cooper and Antonio Valles. And our mentors are Dr. Malcolm DaCosta, Dr. Mohammed Al-Bakari, and John Hawley. And we are the Cool Ducks. We are, our project was on climate change affecting St. Louis. Our mission is we wanted you to join us in the fight against a global phenomenon called climate change. We wanted to inspire you to make healthier decisions by providing you guys with data and about temperature changes of the previous decades, and hopes of inspiring you guys to make healthier environmental habits.
What is climate change? Climate change refers to the overall changes in temperatures and other weather conditions throughout the years. While these changes can occur naturally, studies have shown that recent human activities have been the main contributing factor for climate change due to our excessive use of burning fossil fuels. How does climate change affect us? Climate change affects us by raising our current temperatures, which then lead to an increase in frequency and impact of weather anomalies such as hurricanes and tornadoes, which both thrive in warm weather conditions, and melting our polar ice caps. The possible outcomes of climate change are decrease in crop production, scarcity in consumer goods, infighting due to limited resources, and worst case scenario, all of these before mentioned outcomes will contribute to a full-scale war over what little resources and territory that will be left.
Our project tackled the task of proving that climate change is affecting the area of St. Louis, Missouri. In order to do that, we had to find a viable source of data that we can automatically fetch to ensure that the data is live and current. So we wanted to also utilize that data to model graphs to visualize the rise in temperature and how it's affecting us. So what we use, and when you provided us with a lot of technologies, and it was absolutely wonderful. Particularly, we use Jupyter Notebooks and Google Clouds. In the Jupyter Notebook, we tested out various functions to ensure that our code was actually working. Those functions include getting the latest version of a PDF file from a URL, gathering said data from the PDF, organizing that data into a proper format, and then visualizing said data into graphs and much more. Once we actually completed said code, we moved everything to a Flax Design website using Google Cloud, which was provided for us. And let's visit our website. This is our actual website. As you can tell, we went into a little more in-depth explanation regarding our actual project here. which basically explains what was previously stated, but in a more, elaborate example. And then we have our actual graphs, which are generated every time this page is visited. As you can tell, the data rises near the current years. And it was very hard to do this, but we did it, and we did amazing with it. And this are our citations. We also provided a huge list of organizations, which was absolutely wonderful. So if you want to know more about various organizations within the St. Louis area who are helping to fight climate change, we have them right here. Finally, we have a nice contact page with our little pictures and our emails. If you wish to know anything about us or want to know more about the project. Finally, we have our actual GitHub, which, let me move this. Which shows this is our actual code with everything said and done. We used a lot of functions and a lot of modules to even convert said data into an actual image. For instance, this is our get data format. This is our URL, our temporary file, and our data file. And this function runs all the functions in order to return a pretty nice data set, which has been properly formatted. This functions handle URLs. This one converts the data from the PDF to the actual, JSON data. This gets the data from the files saved. This long function handles the code to ensure that the code is clean, it's properly formatted. And then we had to go through that code and go through every year and divide them into decades and to actual one by years. So using this, we can get an average for every decade of the temperature to back up our claims, because originally the data was all over the place. So we had to do every 10 years, which proves our claims. Then we have a function to calculate the average. We have a function to convert certain things to floats, but we had a lot of weird strings in there. So we had to, remove them and whatnot. We had to do this, which cleans up the list. This is the function where we generate the actual plots, and this function saves the plots. And that's our website. And we had a video just in case it didn't work.
Our findings indicate an increase of temperatures within the last few decades. This increase proves that climate change is not only affecting St. Louis, but the entire world. As shown, we have a line graph and a bar graph. We used Tabula PY to convert the data from the PDF. Then we converted the data to graphs using Matplotlib and Matplotlib, the Python module. And as you can see, from I think it's 1978 to about 2017, it's been a dramatic increase in the temperatures. So our findings are correct.
That's the slide's not working.
We can see the conclusion.
Already, so there we go.
Okay. To conclude our finding, we conclude that the average, based on our findings, we can conclude that the average temperatures are currently at an all-time high compared to the early years in St. Louis. This increase in temperature shows a distinct trend towards a warmer climate. This could be an explanation for the increase in inclement weather in St. Louis, warmer temperatures, and increased weather anomalies. Do you have any questions?
All right, excellent job, excellent job. Judges, do you have any questions for this team?
So I'd like to ask, what were the major technical challenges that you had to solve
One of the major challenges was actually handling the PDF, because when we converted the PDF from the PDF to the JSON file, it included every word, every text, everything that was on it, all the titles, all the labels. So we had to get rid of that. And then we also had to handle the data into a proper format so we can calculate the average and the strings and whatnot. It was very hard to complete that, but we were able to complete it with optimal timing. We were also, one of our other problems was actually that was the only true problem. Everything else was quite easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
I just want to take a moment and let the ducks know that coming from our YouTube live stream, Prestige 813 says, "Go Ducks!"
Yes, go Ducks.
Are there any other questions for this team?
So I do have a question. So I think you guys did a great job. So I wanted to add, so was it only to get the averages and to plot it? Was that your only focus here? Or were you?
We were using the data to back up our claims that, hey, St. Louis is going through a climate change, that they're all going to get higher temperature and they're affected by climate change. So we're using the data to back up our claims. So we had to, calculate the average, because as I said earlier, the original averages, we got the data in years. So we got every average for every year. But when we put that on an actual graph, it was hard to, do it. So we had to actually do it by decade. And then we can actually see a sort of increase in the data, which ultimately backs up our claim that, hey, there's an increase in an average of temperatures. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think I understand it. But looking at it from another perspective, just the averages going up over time might not really be a clear indication. You might probably want to test if there's a significant difference, because definitely over time, there's going to be the averages will definitely rise. But you want to test if there's a significant difference between the averages rising and it having an effect.
Already.
But I think you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right. If there aren't any more questions for this group, let's just say that we know for a fact that, let's see here if it won't spotlight me. It won't switch over for some reason. There we go. We know for a fact that Zoom fatigue is a thing plaguing the world at this time. And we don't want to be a part of that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to give everyone a 5-minute break to go and take care of your biological functions, as well as to, of course, pick up some fresh water or a cup of coffee for our last 3 groups after this 5-minute break. So right now I have on my clock 6:20. So at whatever hour time it is where you're located around the country, at 25 after the hour, we will get started again. So 5-minute break.
Jamie, I paused the recording so we can just resume it at the same spot when we return.
Thank you so much. The live stream is going to keep going for those that are listening, but yes. And let's see if we can get a little traveling music going here. So let me go ahead and yes.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
Uh-oh. Well, there are many answers to this great mystery of life. But what solution have you found?
It's simple. To get to the other side. Hi, Anna.
And this is why I'm going to ban you next time.
I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. All right, so we have about 4 more minutes remaining. Yeah. Why? Why? Why ask why?
You
No.
can take a break. I got it.
All right.
Al intentar el olvidarme durante mucho tiempo en tu vida, yo voy a vivir detalles tan pequeños de los dos, son cosas muy grandes para olvidar. Ya lo verás.
Quanto querer cabe meu coração. Ai, me faz sofrer.
So I was going to stop the music nice and slow, bring the volume down and do the fade out and then fade back in. And that's not what happened at all. We had that sudden stop right as we were starting to groove. So I'm sorry about that. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our last 3 team presentations for HPC in the city, St. Louis. Now, I'm going to double check here to make sure. Oh, thank you. That's what I wanted to make sure of, John. You have hit record again. I appreciate that, sir. And so now, my dear judges, our faithful friends, we do appreciate your work so. And it is my duty to inform you that all three of these last teams, Don't Skip a Beat, Flood of Code, and Team Blockbusters, have all completed their requirements for the 20 points for completeness. So all three have completed them. Now, bringing to the virtual stage one of our student mentor led groups, Don't Skip a Beat. So Don't Skip a Beat team, you have our attention.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Team Don't Skip a Beat. My name is Sophia Afolabi. I am a freshman student from Mississippi Valley State University, and my major is computer and information science. Meet our group members. We have Kevin, Drew, Daniel Lamb, Ayomide Olashukwu, and we have our beautiful mentors, Jenny T. Burney, Marcus Golding, and Jolson Silgado. Our goal as a team, as a group, as a team, is to provide a platform to local users in St. Louis areas of ways to efficiently manage their health. Being informed of ways you can manage your physical and mental health is the key to evolving into a more developed version of yourself. Remember, you're not alone throughout your journey. Now, I am going to hand over the presentation to my teammate, Ayomide. Over to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ayomide, a freshman computer science major from Mississippi Valley State University. Our problem statement was how we can use the data on mental and physical health collected from CDC to provide a platform whereby users in St. Louis can have different ways and advices on how to manage their health. After looking at our problem statement, my team and I aimed at providing the user with a platform to monitor their physical and mental health, which we achieved as a result of our individual contributions and coming together as a team to make it happen. Kevin was given the task of designing the website and linking content to it. Daniel was responsible for cleaning the data he collected from CDC. I made use of HPC technology by using a Jupyter notebook through a GoogleCloud AI platform. And finally, Sophia and I set up and organized a GitHub repository in order to host our website.
And how's everyone doing? My name is Daniel Lamb. I'm a sophomore at Elizabeth City State University. And some of the things that we learned during this project, we learned how to use the GitHub repository. We learned HPC usage by using Jupyter Notebook through a GoogleCloud AI platform. We learned how to clean data of a CSV file. We learned high-level Python programming and also balsamic wireframing. And at this point, I will show you my Jupyter Notebook. So our CSV had plenty of data that we were able to pull into the Jupyter Notebook, and I was able to isolate down those columns to response and sample size. And our response were things like underweight, normal weight, overweight, and obese, which are normal BMI categories, excuse me. And of course, our sample size were the numbers of people that were evaluated in that area. And each row shows a different location in the Missouri area. And of course, we were able to come down to a column size and get a column sum, and 761 represents 1 and 13,453 and so on. And with those numbers, we took and we put into a weighted scale for calculation for the average BMI. As you can tell, 3.04 was our average, which correlates to the most people were overweight. And now at this point, I'll pass it over to my teammate, Kevin, after I stop sharing.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Kevin Drew, and I am a software engineering major at Morehouse College. I'm only a sophomore right now. All right, so on my screen, you can see our repository right here, and it contains folders for our .csv file and Jupyter Notebook document, as well as another folder that has our HTML and CSS for our website. And then let me show you what our homepage for our website looks like. So our homepage features 3 images right down here. And then when you click these images, they will link you to the 3 main facets of our website, which are mental health, physical health, and your nutrition. And then the main purpose of our website, which is right down here, basically saying that this is a website to inform the people of St. Louis of ways that they can take good care of themselves within their city. So I'll start with the mental health page. And our mental health page starts off by linking to the CDC page with more information on mental health. And every suggestion or like all the text that we have right here is all coming from the CDC. Like it's all suggestions based on what the CDC says about mental health. And the three ways that we have presented to the user for managing their mental health are through communication, exercise, as well as giving yourself time to rest. So for the communication, we have your options are talking to a friend, with your family members, or a therapist. And this link down here will connect you to a list of therapists in the St. Louis area. So this is really just making it this information more accessible to the users. And right down here, we have a document that explains why exercise, or why and how exercise is scientifically proven to improve your mood. Right down here, so the user can check that out if they wish to. And then the third is making time for yourself. And right here, we have a link to St. Louis bookstores, as well as books on mental health. And you can see all these links are loading up top of here. All right, and the next page that we have is our nutrition page. And right here, the nutrition page starts off by letting the user know why the nutrition matters and why they should pay attention to it. These are the three different, these are some of the ways that your nutrition affects your body and how you operate every day. Right down here, we have our BMI section and our BMI calculator. So like Daniel was talking about, where he used, when he was in Jupyter Notebook, using the .csv file to find what the BMI category is, that was the average in St. Louis. We found that the average person falls into the overweight category, every BMI. And to get better understanding of these categories, we have a link to the CDC article on body mass index. And right here, we have our BMI calculator, which I can run a demo of as well. This one isn't all fancy. Let's see, here we go. All right, so we have the option for choosing between the metric and imperial systems. I could put an example of like 160 and then like this. So you add your height and your weight, because your BMI is your weight times your height squared. And since it's imperial, you're gonna multiply that number by 703. And this tells you your BMI is 21.7, which falls into the interval that's required to have a healthy weight. If I were to add like a crazy big number like this up here, I'll let you know that you fall into the severely obese, and then you bring it down to like something really low, let you know that you're really underweight. And then what the user can do with this information is they can take it as something to consider when choosing the diets that we have labeled below. Because the nutrition page, we offer diets that can help you lose weight or gain weight, both in healthy ways, because there are ways to do both of those that are unhealthy. So we want the user to have options available that are healthy and safe. And these links will take you to websites about recipes and more information about these diets. All these links load up top. And then same for gaining weight. This one loads up, this one as well. And then right here at the bottom, we have a link to a list of healthy restaurant options in St. Louis. So the user can take a look at these. It's making it nice and accessible for the user. And then this takes us back home. And the final page I'll be presenting on is the physical health page, which is right up here. All right, and then for the physical health, we have a document that explains to the user why exercise matters and why they should take it to be something they should consider doing every day or whenever they have the chance. And then we also let you know that exercise is not something you have to go to the gym for every time. So this link right here takes you to, I would say, with at-home workouts that are available to you. And right here, this next section shows this place where you can exercise and walk around in St. Louis. So this is, this is a good place for walking around in the city. This place also, State Park, is good for horseback riding, biking, and hiking. So basically, we chose these places because there are a wide range of ways you can exercise throughout these three different places, and they're all in the St. Louis area. And then we also have a link to gyms that are in St. Louis, if that's the way you want to go with getting in shape. And then we also just have our team here page at the end, just showing who put a hard work into this website. And yeah, that's a website. So I'm going to hand it back over to Daniel to take the slides.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. And of course, a big thank you to our mentors, Jocelyn, Janetti, Marcus, and of course, help from Mr. Boyd Wilson. Thank you thank you from the supporting organizations, and thank you to SC21 for the amazing opportunity. And
Excellent
questions?
job. Fantastic job. So do we have any questions for this group?
I have a question. This is a great presentation, by the way, everyone. My question has to do with the BMI numbers you used. You probably said this during your presentation. I apologize if I didn't catch it, but where did you get those numbers from? You indicated something like 17,000 responses in one section, 3,000 responses in another, and then 14,000 in the third. So question one is, where'd you get those numbers? And question two, are you worried that because of the vast difference between 17,000 responses and 3,000 responses, that wouldn't be throwing you off in terms of your conclusions?
Oh, yeah, as you can see. Well, Kevin, can I show my screen right quick?
Yeah, you got it. You're all good.
I still see yours.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot how to stop my share.
I'll help you out.
Thank you.
Okay. I believe the question was, where do those numbers come from, if I'm not mistaken? And those are just the number of people that out of all the people that were measured or evaluated, 761 of them were underweight. That's just the number. And can you remind me of their second question? I'm sorry, I forgot it.
The second question was were you worried about your conclusions, because you've got 761 in the one category and then like 17,000 in the other category, so that's going to be quite the variance. So I was just wondering if you were concerned about your conclusions based on the fact that your numbers are so widely apart.
Yeah, that's a very good question, which I don't think we really took into consideration. Not for the time being.
I have a way I could answer this question. So the way that the data was collected, it had a bunch of other factors besides just the users or the person's BMI. So basically, let me see. Let's see. Can I share my screen, Daniel?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So right here, you can see this column right here. The column we used was response right here. So this gives the BMI of this specific person. And you see how it says obese up here, but it also have obese down here. Because there's a bunch of other factors that are being taken into consideration for the way this document was organized. So what we were able to do was find all of the people who fell into obese and got the total number of people who are obese in this data set right here. And we did the same thing for the rest of the classes, so it's all organized. And the number, I don't have the exact number in my mind right now, but I remember it was around 50,000 people total that we had in the data set when we collected all of the from 2020 Missouri in this data set. So we had 50,000 people, and out of the 50,000 people, the data class that had the most people in it, or the BMI category that had the most people in it, was overweight. So that's how we got that number. Did that answer your question?
Yes, very much. Thank you.
And yeah, I also have to know how to stop sharing my screen again, so I'll just leave that to someone else.
And are there any further questions for this group? I think we have time for one more question. All right. In that case, thank you so much, team. Don't skip a beat. Now, there's something I want to do here, if you don't mind. If you have not had the chance to put yourself in gallery view, here in Zoom. Now I can't show it to you because Zoom can't share Zoom. But if I could, I promise you'd notice every member of the Don't Skip a Beat team, as well as the members of the Cool Ducks. and the members of Brick by Brick, because each of the teams actually have a theme that goes along with their team. So just wanted to point that out for you all. And once again, I wanted to say great job to our student member, Miss Jocelyn Salgado.
Oh, Jamie?
Yes.
Actually, I wanted to acknowledge the one who actually came up with this idea. It wasn't actually my idea, it was actually his. So may I just have 1 minute or 30 seconds?
We can do that.
Blake, he's my personal trainer and my best friend. Please don't be shy and just say hi, please.
Hello, how's everybody doing? Yeah, Jocelyn came to me with this idea. If I had anything to add, what would I do? She kept telling me about this project. You guys were developing apps. So I was just thinking about fitness level. It's my lifestyle. I actually own a personal studio where I personally train people, certified nutrition. So I'm helping people all day long. But speaking with actually Jocelyn yesterday and throughout this process is how they developed the app, made it better. It's always a good thing when you can get a collective of individuals together that can expand on your idea. And that's what these young gentlemen did. So I'm very impressed with what I saw, once again, just to build on my little concept and make it 10 times bigger than I thought it could ever be. So I'm very impressed, and it looks really good.
Thank you.
Excellent. And thank you for joining us as well.
Jocelyn, this wasn't a website, this was an app.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
You answered yes, this is an app, not a website.
On this one, yeah, originally we were going towards more of an application, but we ended up switching to more of a website.
A website, okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. And thank you again. Don't skip a beat. Now, up next, we'll bring you to the stage. Now, many of you here have probably heard of this group, whether you know it or not, due to a fantastic team trailer that is now, from what I understand, has spread around the academic community because of its sheer awesomeness. That's all I can say. And so I will now turn the floor over to the group, Flood of Code. So Flood of Code, you have our attention.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I would like to offer salutations to my fellow participants, the panel, all the other mentors, and the people watching on YouTube, as well as the people who will be watching in the future. I'm going to share my screen and let's get started. We are Flood of Code. And let me know if this is presenting correctly.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, thank you so much for that feedback. We are Flood of Code, and this is HPC Hackathon 21. The coding ninjas we have before you today are Ana Patricia. She is a senior from Lehman College. We also have Charles Gaffney, who is a freshman from Methodist University, and myself, Tyler Jackson, a freshman from Morehouse College. Our team members are the illustrious Virginia Trueheart, who's a manager HPC frontline support and works at Texas Advanced Computing Center at the University of Texas, Austin. We also have Dr. William Mobley, who is a research scientist at the Institute for Disaster Resilient Texas at Texas A&M Galveston. What we are presenting before you today is a flood map that identifies roads that have flooded and is populated by community call-ins. Floods account for more than $1 billion in damage every year, and it's something that a lot of people around the world suffer from, and it's something that we suffer from here in America. The purpose of our project is to help the St. Louis community because is to help St. Louis community in accessing information about flooded streets, allowing them to avoid delays in their daily lives. I'm going to give the floor to Anna, and she'll give you a demonstration of what we have come up with.
Hello, everyone. So right now we're looking at our demo. When we first open our website, the default set is to be February of 2021. On the right side, we have the legend with the name of the streets flooded during that period of time. If we double click on a street, it will highlight it on the map. So right now we are highlighting Hazard Street, which is a major road in Houston with very heavy traffic. And as you can see, with severe flooding problems. Underneath our map, we have a slider that updates the map once we select a month. So our data goes from July of 2020 to June of 2021. So if we select March, the map will update to show us the roads flooding during March of 2021. So while our map updates, I will tell you a little bit about the resources that we used. All the code was written in Python. It was first written in a GoogleCloud document and then later was imported into a Jupyter notebook in GoogleCloud. To create our website, we utilized Dashplotty, which converts Python script to a web app. We also use GoogleCloud specifically to use Docker to build container images that allow us to use a server to deploy our app in Cloud Run. We can go back to our demo and we should be able to see an updated map with the roads flooded in the month of March. I want to highlight the toolbox that our website has. We have the option of taking PNG images of our map and save them to our devices. We also have a selected box option, which highlights the roads inside of the inside of the box. One thing that we need to fix is to make the legend update to show only the roads that are inside of the selected box. But yeah, this is the end of our demo. We can now move on to our St. Louis applications in our project.
All right, as we might have saw, our map only shows for Houston right now, because on the first day we had wanted to do St. Louis, but we were unable to find the correct data sets to do it. So we decided to go with something that we could find the data sets for to show how it could eventually be modeled for St. Louis. And once this is applied to St. Louis, citizens can easily view where floods are occurring in the city, along with what roads may be affected. Public workers will also have a way to easily see on the map where they may need to focus flood relief efforts. These public workers will also be able to see over time where floods may occur most by sliding the slider. In order to get this applicable to St. Louis, we would need a shapefile of roads and pathways found in that city, along with flood event data sent in some way that the program can interpret it, most likely in a .csv file. For future work, if we continue this project, we'd love to allow for data to be received in real time, either from some API or from user inputted data. Allow for the user to change the look of the map more, such for other methods to possibly ingest data from, quicken the load times of the map, and also make a better legend for it. And hopefully change what is shown when you hover over a road or point to be a bit more descriptive. We'd also like to give special thanks to all our sponsors who allowed this event to take place, everyone that's allowed us to have this awesome opportunity to run and to code, to present a final project. And we'd also like to give a very special thanks to Cole McKnight for last night staying up with us to 3 a.m. to finish our cloud working properly. Any questions?
Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm the host, so I'm going to use some of my hosting power to do this. That slide right there. Yep. Y'all know me. I was going to ask why it doesn't have St. Louis data. And you put a slide in there that not only addressed it, but then told the people of St. Louis, this is what we need to be able to do this for you. So that coupled with the fact that all right, now, some of you all aren't going to know what this is, but for some reason in this hackathon, the 1980s kind of became a thing. And this game that they're showing behind them is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from NES. It's one of my favorite games when I was a kid that kicked my butt, especially there's this level where you have to disarm things. Point is, I love this game. I love the theme. I love the fact that you addressed the problem vicariously and then said, this is how we can do it for you. So excellent job.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from the judges for this team?
Yeah, perhaps I missed it, but could you show us what the actual application you produced look like? Is this it?
Yeah, this is it. I can actually put the link in the chat if you want to play it with yourself.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. So then you show a map of a city, and then the user can pick up the roads listed on the right.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, the roads that are on the right are the roads that were floated during that period of time. So right now we are in March. So all those roads that you see on the right are roads that were flooded during March. So if we change the slider to be in April, the roads are gonna be probably different. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna.
And if I may add, the little points we see on the map are all different reported flood events that were found in a CSV file. So the loads pair by ones that are the loads come from where loads intersect the flooding event points from 311 from Houston, Texas.
So are you aware of any other app that does something similar to what you do that shows this kind of data? Like, does Google Map show any of these?
I do not believe it shows flooded loads.
It does. What Google Maps does, it doesn't do it as in depth or offer the information that we have provided. Google Maps may give you an estimated red line for a certain highway, but it's not going to give you these flood events that we have, because this app can also help with. It could be a valuable resource in disaster readiness and mitigation. So if you see that roads that are adjacent to you are flooding, then you can prepare yourself and your family for that. Google isn't going to do that. They're just going to look at your route. And if someone isn't, they're just going to look at your route. And if people aren't on the roads, you're not going to know.
Yeah, so this is your contribution, right? You're going above what you're implementing, something that doesn't exist.
Yes.
I will say this morning I did discover that Houston has actually created something similar that shows flood points in some other 311 type calls, I think emergency calls as well, but they do not highlight roads specifically that may be affected. And I did not discover that application till this morning. And also our application can hopefully be applicable to St. Louis and any other city we're able to find the proper data for.
Yeah, we have lots in many cities. Yep, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
All right, amazing job, you all. Up, I think Elijah is about to say something.
Yes. So I think you guys did an outstanding work. Now, my question here is, so I know you guys used data from Houston. So after you were able to develop the app and everything, at this point, if you get data and you just read it into your app, it should be able to relay it a lot. Like it should relate it to St. Louis. So did you attempt to do that at all? Because you've already done the work. You've done everything. You've come up with an app. All you need now is just to apply the app to a given data that is specific to St. Louis. Did you attempt that at all?
We were unable to find a data source when we were searching Friday to allow us to do that. So we have not had the chance to apply that to St. Louis because of the missing data.
Okay, good.
All right. Fantastic job. Fantastic job. So now, at long last, we are down to our final team, if you can believe it, we're down to our last team for the HPC in the City of St. Louis Hackathon this year. And that final team's name is the Blockbusters. So Team Blockbusters, you have our attention. But I think whoever is sharing needs to let go first.
My apologies. I'll be out of your way.
Thank you, Tyler. There we go.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm Joba, and this is Team Blockbuster. Our mentor is Dr. Kate, and we have Bailey, myself, then Faiz in the group, Christopher and Abdul. And our goal that we started out with was to kind of like build a blockchain that uses stream data from IoT devices to kind of like maximize the whole way contracts and devices and even like governance, not governance in a way, but then transactions and the likes are carried out in St. Louis. That's what we started out with. But along the way, we decided that minimum viable product will be creating a live streaming repo that we can host on Flags and actually make it feed data into it, create a blockchain, and just do something simple and scale it up. So can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So our idea of our blockchain is to kind of like look at creating a safe and reliable like ledger system that can be used for trading and also like tracking assets. And by assets, we mean something tangible and intangible in like a network in St. Louis. And why we thought this would be useful in St. Louis is because we thought having the whole kind of like community have this kind of like digitized and sustainable management of like mobile data, energy, and basically the most sectors will kind of like make sense and would help with security and help like the sustainability of data. So overall, specifically, we thought about like 5 or 6 things that we thought this project could kind of like achieve for St. Louis. Next, please. And that's like in terms of like security, we thought that would guarantee the protection of data across all sectors. And energy, we felt like with the blockchain, with everyone on the grid, it's gonna be easier to kind of like make energy transactions, trade surplus energy, or even like share energy. That's what we talked about. For mobility too, you can track how people kind of like use data with their like cars and the likes, and could also help solve things like air pollution and the likes by encouraging people to use public transport, thereby reducing the number of cars on the road of St. Louis. Same thing for waste and for participation. We thought this kind of like decentralized model of data management and asset management would give everyone an opportunity in the way things are being run in St. Louis. Yeah, so that was the goal. What we did, the project timeline, I'm just gonna walk you through this before Faiz goes through the demo. We decided to find an existing repo of blockchain code and to start from there and not build one from scratch because of the timeline that we have. And we were able to find Pi Simple Chain, which kind of like does a simple blockchain application that we just need to like host on a server, and we had to like feed it with data. We decided on the data we want to use. It wasn't easy getting some data from St. Louis, like real-time data from St. Louis, but we finally found with the help of Dr. Kate and AG, we got some weather data, and we kind of like scraped that using Beautiful Soup for the AGBB data. And for the other data, the Meso West, we use an API request to kind of like feed live data into the blocks that we kind of like created. And in the end, we hosted that. We just created the Flask app, then hosted a server, and kind of like moved it onto it and just tested it and made sure that it ran. the applications we used are kind of like Google Colab, Python definitely with Jupyter Lab in Google Colab. Then we created a Flask app. Then the server, I believe .ok, kind of like hosted out on the Google Cloud. And definitely what we use for the scraping tools, which are like Python libraries for the beautiful soup, then the API for the Mysore API. So Faiz is gonna like demo the products we have so far, and it will take it from here.
Sure, thank you. So this is kind of a visual representation of our minimum viable product. And the key thing here, kind of going around from left to right, real-time streaming data. And we incorporated 2 sources, but this could scale very well to hundreds, thousands, of sources. The methods we used via Python scripting were web scraping and API requests. And these are 2 methods, but there could be others as well. On the back end, we have, as mentioned by Joba, the PySimple chain example or functional working, example of a blockchain hosted to a server, and a UX UI, which currently is just in notebook form, but it's functional and it's pretty simple to use. On the simple chain script for the representation of the blockchain is more or less comprised of 4 classes: message, meaning data, block, which adds that data to the block, a class called simple chain, which adds that particular block of data to the entire chain or existing chain in sequence, and a manager that helps readouts, validation, authentication, and those kind of functions required for a blockchain. This is just a example of the class message, but it's all located in our GitHub. And here, so this is the backend hosted on the server. So the Python library here used was hashlib and Flask to host it to a server, and some simple conversions instead of using get, add, and instead of post chain, just to make it more user friendly. The server, as I mentioned, use simple commands such as add and chain and block hash to run the blockchain functions. And the representation of the object coming in and out is, in our case, temperature, relative humidity, and a timestamp that's verifiable. Python library used here was requests. This is demo 1, which takes a existing live stream website that updates in real time every 5 minutes from the agricultural electronic bulletin board weather data for St. Louis. And I will quickly exit the presentation and show the demo. So importing some basic libraries. Beautiful soup here is used for web scraping. We can run the request to pull data from that website that I just showed, scrape the contents into a payload that represents the data that we're interested in this case, temperature and humidity. It is still residing in the script, show that payload, and this is where it gets placed to the chain with its corresponding hash, unique hash. And then you can test that block by readout of the full information, as well as just the relevant temperature, timestamp, and humidity data. So very, very simple script. I'm going to go back to the presentation. I won't execute, but the second demo is for an API call instead of web scraping. So more or less, it's the same sequence of commands, just using some different data gathering techniques, but it's still fully automated. So this is a readout from, again, a live streaming website with weather data, here represented by hash. I can copy a particular unique hash for one data stream and test it or evaluate or authenticate it. And this will give me the readout for that particular hash. which corresponds to the site ID, temperature, timestamp, as well as humidity as we desire. So back to the presentation here. Okay, yeah, and that one just uses Python library requests. Okay, so back to Joba for the conclusion here.
Yeah, so I got a 1 minute warning already. But so that's the idea we have. And even though we scaled it down, we just made sure we have plans to kind of like continue building this. So we didn't scale it down in a way that it's not gonna like allow us to like build on what we have. So we have like just one or two blocks, and we're gonna build on that. And the whole idea is getting data from like St. Louis, making value out of it, and also kind of like making sure
time.
Exercise. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Now that is a team that took it to the limit one more time. They took, but an amazing project using blockchain technology to actually bring in weather data for storage and for utilization. And again, they did it starting Thursday night. Amazing job. Having said that, are there any questions from our judges? Awesome job. Awesome job. Unbelievable. Well done.
I have a question for Air. Did you generate an app or was that a website you created?
Was it for us? I'm sorry.
Yes, for Air.
So we generated a website.
Okay, thank you.
Website that was basically a Flask application. So the front end was a website, but the Flask application was what was running in between for the interaction.
All right. Are there any other questions for Team Blockbusters? Okay, in that case, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to open the breakout room so that the judges can deliberate. And what we're going to do is we're going to put 10 minutes on the clock so that our judges can make their selections and we can go get caught. Okay, I'll get tea. It's the time of night that I should get tea. So I'm going to head to my kitchen and get tea. And we're going to pause our recording here and we're going to await the results from our judges. So 10-minute break, you all, 10 minutes.
Recording.
Fantastic job, teams. Fantastic job. Y'all did that in 96 hours, 98 hours, sorry. It would have been 97, but we gave you one last hour, because of one more hour because of daylight savings time. So you're welcome. So 10-minute break. We're going to get started again here we're going to say at 20 after the hour, 20 after the hour. Having said that, there is still time remaining to vote for your favorite team. I'm going to put that link one more time into the chat. Please vote for your favorite team. And then we'll have our award ceremony at 20 minutes after the hour. Judges, to your breakout room.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey, Jamie, I got
Yes,
nothing.
ma'am.
They're saying that the breakout rooms aren't letting them in.
Oh, wait, who's not letting them in? Which one?
The Jamie Hopkins.
Let's see if we can put her in there. See Virginia. Let's see, we have Elijah. Okay, so we have Elijah, we have Jacqueline, we have Dr. Hayden, Ruse, where are you? And please note that room is only for judges.
It's not even giving me any options.
Okay, for Damien?
Yeah. It's just not giving me. Yeah, click on breakout.
Not a problem.
I just signed them.
Okay, thank
got
you.
invited.
Hey, Jamie.
Yes.
What did the shark say when he ate a clownfish?
Tasted silly.
Super close. He said it tasted kind of funny.
Ha ha ha. I came close. I came close.
Yes, pretty close.
By the way, just for giggles here, in our, if you notice when you voted, there was a question down the bottom that you can leave a positive comment for the teams. So I do want to throw some of those out. And by the way, for the question in chat, what song was that from? Your Lie in April, the anime Your Lie in April. What? Ew. That is a good. I'm not getting involved. I'm not.
Ready? I have some words for
into
you.
this. I'm not being sucked into
Do not
this.
use the chat ever again.
10 out of 10. Thank you. That is one of those animes that get you into your feels. I'm just saying. So, just to put a couple positive vibes out there. Let's see here. The teams are all so creative. Okay, let me open this a different way so it doesn't keep jumping around on me. So I keep trying to read it and then it just bounces. All right, let me open it here. And so we're going to close those breakout rooms. We're going to close the voting form in another 3 minutes. So let's read one of these fine comments from people as they were voting to let these teams know how they feel. It was wonderful to work with you all. You worked so hard and did a great job. I really liked the material presented. It was clear and specific. I think they are working very hard and deserve my vote. Urban road flooding is very serious yet understudied problem. I think it's a great project, but the Ninja Turtles sound did it for me. The other teams were also great. I like the brick by brick. Had to open it because this is a long one. I like the brick by brick and equalizer projects as well. The teams are also creative. The videos really took many different approaches and I enjoyed the various theme songs. I'll check back in later today, but one key element I looked at when I voted was what was included in your GitHub sites. That was a differentiator. Regardless, you are all, gotta scroll, you are all winners. This looks like the teams were all quite organized as compared to many other hackathons. Well done. Thank you for that. This one, I just have no choice. I have to say it. Cowabunga, bodacious. You turtles don't know the meaning of defeat. Totally tubular. They're innovative. Very captivating trailer video. You got this. Go Cool Ducks. She is right person to choose. Y'all are absolutely amazing. Good job. Flutter Code trailer looked really exciting and the project looks awesome. And just do a couple more and then I'll let you all enjoy your little break here. They are phenomenal. A changing agent to the world. Very creative intro and your hard work on the coding is impressive. Your ideas for future work is really great too. Let's see if I can get one more here. I can see the effort level of every team involved here. I am so proud of the work the students have done and their commitment to completing their projects. So I just want to let you all know that the world is behind you and they are so proud of you. And the last one that just came in was really smart and blockchains are the future. So with that, it is now 15 minutes after the hour. I am heading into the form to now stop accepting responses. So the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding shall be out here in 5 more minutes. Oop, sorry for the gray box.
Jamie.
Yes.
I did a shameless plug for the SciParks internship as I'm one of the reviewers for the applications, but there are a number of projects for just similar things we've been doing in this hackathon, which is applying your coding skills to solving really interesting problems. And the applications are open now. I just sent a link in the chat. It's a summer internship. It's going to be either done remotely or in person in Boulder, Colorado. And of course, it is paid as well as with housing provided for as well as part of the internship.
Excellent, thank you. And I'm actually also going to post that in our YouTube for our YouTube viewers to be a part of that, because from what I understand, we have quite a few students that are rooting for their home teams and their fellow students. And thank you for letting us know that there, Ag. All right. Now, I am going to step into the breakout room for a moment just to check on our judges. Now, the catch is, very abruptly, the music's going to stop when I do that. But when I come back, I'll start it up again. I'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the judges have requested 5 more minutes because apparently this is hard. And I think that is quite reasonable. So we're going to give them 5 more minutes to finish their judging duties, as it were. And we're going to play
5 more minutes to ask for 5 more minutes.
I hope not. They say they were wrapping it up. So 5 more minutes. So I'm going to say at 25 past the hour, we will drag them into the main room by the power of my close all breakout rooms button so we can hear the results. A truly important thing. So for all the participants, if you have not yet filled out the shipping information form, get her done. The email was sent to every last one of you all, so please fill that out. Within that email, there is also a link to the post survey. Please fill out that survey. We want to make these events better and better and better. And the only way we can do that is by people telling us the positives and the negatives so that we can indeed improve. Having said that, I'm going to drop that survey into the chat so that you all can do that. So let me go ahead and open that up. This is the post event survey. And remember, if there was something you didn't like, Boyd did it. Noted. I just want to put out there too, those, I want to be quiet, but it is what it is. Those mentor trailers, wow.
Top notch, huh? Top notch.
Wow. So again, for those that weren't a part of the event, I was the one that had to decide which one of those videos was the best one. And it was hard. Now, I'm going to say that the group that did win, it was just the way they put it together. The complete theme throughout it, the music, the visuals, everything was just spot on. And so I couldn't help but choose it. But man, that was a hard decision. All right. And I also want to put out there for the winners that we're going to announce tonight. Now, I believe we have most of them. But for the winners tonight, so let me start from the beginning. First of all, there are 3 awards. There's the Impact Award, there is the Judges Award, and there is the Viewer's Choice Award. And for each one of those awards, each member of those groups will receive $100 cash. And the way we send it is we send it through PayPal. So be aware, if your group wins, make sure before you go that Amy Cannon has your PayPal address so we can send it directly to your account.
Like tonight.
Yes. We will not chase you to give you money. Just let you know. If you don't want the money, there are Lego sets on my list, and Boyd's too.
Yeah, they're running short too. They're all stuck in ships somewhere.
Mm-hmm. All right, so it sounds like the judges are back. So judges, you all are out of the breakout rooms. Are you all here?
Yes.
Present.
Oh my goodness. So I'm going to go ahead and close the breakout rooms to make sure we have everyone back. I'm going to stop my share. And we are going to continue to our award ceremony. So John, thank you for hitting record. I appreciate that. Now, before I hand this over to Dr. Hayden to present the awards, I just want to take one more moment to say thank you. Thank you to my family on the organizing committee. Amy, Boyd, Dr. Hayden, Alex, Josh. I appreciate every last one of you all, and thank you for all that you do. And as a gift from me to you, we're not having a morning meeting.
Yay, sleeping.
It's the little things. It's the little things. So, but also I want to thank, while I have this opportunity, to thank all of our sponsors. So Intel, Omnibond, TACC, SGCI, Exceed, GoogleCloud, and the SC21 Inclusivity Committee. Thank you for everything you have done for this event and for all of our participants, and SIG HPC as well. Just to let people know, they are going to be there are stipends that will be given to persons. There are the prizes that Omnibond is providing. There are the cash prizes that Omnibond is providing. There's registrations for Supercomputing 21, which if any of you all have ever looked on that website to look for how much it costs, it is not cheap. We're talking anywhere of $400+ per person. Professional memberships from SIG HPC, and I'm missing one big one. What's the big one I'm missing? Ooh, I'm forgetting something. And of course, our mini prizes. Oh, and our cloud credits from Google Cloud. And then they also provided speakers and things to come and speak to the students. I also want to thank all of our mentors that have worked their tails off. As you heard with Cole being up all night, I got calls throughout the night and things like that. Amy and Dr. Hayden and Boyd and all of us giving up our time and our weekends to work with you all, not because we have to, but because we love to. So having said that, I'm going to shut my mouth and I'm going to hand the floor off to my mentor, Dr. Linda Hayden.
Hello, everyone. So glad that to see those wonderful presentations. It was a delight and just, warmed my heart to see all the work that went into it. And I want to congratulate each and every one of you for finishing this challenge. It's a rite of passage as such. It's not, we have winners, but everybody worked hard and we recognize that. And that's why it took us an extra 5 minutes to kind of break the ties and stuff. So wonderful job to everyone. We're going to announce first our Impact Award, and the person who will bring you that information on the Impact Award is our representative from the SC21 Inclusion Committee, and that's Maria.
Thank you, Linda.
Maria.
So on behalf of the SC Inclusivity Committee, I'd like to announce the HPC in the city for the St. Louis Hackathon. The winner is the Blockbuster team. Yay. Congratulations to you. We recognize the potential impact your project can have on the people of St. Louis. So congratulations on your win.
Yes.
Bravo.
Thank you, Maria. Now notice that all of these awards are equally impressive. And so there's not a one that we should say was better than the other, because if you got an award and you did an exceptional job, and so we're not saying, one award is better than the other, but congratulations to Team Blockbuster for your Impact Award. You should document that on your resume and let the world know it's a big deal. Our Judge's Choice Award is going to be announced by another one of our judges, and that's Dr. Jacqueline Jackson from Jackson State University.
Good evening. Before I announce the winner, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate all of you for your outstanding work. I had the opportunity to drop in and out of the sessions, and during this final presentation, it was a real pleasure and a joy to hear the growth just from over a few days. So I would like to continue to encourage you to what you have learned over this weekend, that you would continue to explore it and to develop. And I look forward to hearing more from you in the future. And as Dr. Hayden said, this was a tight race and it was very difficult, but we had to select a winner. So tonight, the Judge's Choice Award goes to AIR. Congratulations.
Oh, good job, guys.
Thank you.
Yay.
Great job. All right. And our final award is is the Viewer's Choice Award. And we had a number of people who responded to this, who took the time to, hold on, I'm trying to add and at the same time as I talk, 2 + 2. Okay. I have 260 people who responded to this survey and picked their favorite team. And that is amazing that we generated that amount of activity within our community. 260 people did that. But from our responses, and again, it was close, but from our responses, our viewers chose Don't Skip a Beat for their award. Don't skip a beat.
Hey.
Yay! Congratulations.
Yeah.
260. Oh, I didn't have to add. Good. Looks
That
good.
was a close one.
A lot of code.
It was pretty close. Yeah.
Wow, that's close.
A lot of code. Right behind. Amazing job.
Amazing.
So, Viewer's Choice, Don't Skip a Beat, the Impact Award, Blockbusters, and the Judge's Choice Award, the Atmospheric Investigative Researchers. Excellent job. Excellent job, every team.
Every team, all the teams.
Every team, all of you.
Every team, all the teams. So, with that, you all, this concludes this year's HPC in the City St. Louis Hackathon. Stay tuned for our next set of events. Of course, we'll be emailing, and we look forward to having mentors and students participate in the future. So with that, I'm going to give the last word. Let's see here. Who should have the last word this time?
We doing a group photo, Jamie?
I will do a group photo as well.
Linda
So-
Ackley is online. She
Oh, I saw her when she logged in, but I'm gonna give the last word for me to stop the recording to actually, Linda, do you have your ears on? Linda Ackley? I feel like she's sitting there going, "Oh Lord." I was like, say something. So what I will do, I'm going to pick a student this time to give us the last word. And that student that I think I'm going to pick is, no. I'm not going to do the student. I'm going to do, it's like I should have made up my mind before, but I'm going to ask Mr. John Holly from Exceed and Sura to please give us the last word.
Wow. It's been a great experience yet again. I'm so glad to see so many students come out. It's so nice to watch people learn and grow. I love the camaraderie. I love the fact that, like Jamie says, this is a family. And we hope that our family will be back at the next event and the next event. And maybe become student mentors like Jocelyn. Just don't win everything every time. But again, we really appreciate everyone coming. We really appreciate all the hours you put in. We know it's been a long thing. And most importantly, when this is done, get some rest.
Yeah.
Mental health is very important. You have to recharge your batteries. So please make sure you get some rest. And again, thank you so much.
And with that, we say goodnight.
Join the alumni group. Update
Yes.
your resumes and enjoy the supercomputing conference.